Now that we know a bit about the spreadsheet software options and why they are handy for data analysts, let's begin exploring the basics of using a spreadsheet application. In this video, we will use the full desktop version, but most of the tasks we cover can also be done with Excel on the web, Excel Online, and other spreadsheet apps like Google Sheets. Before we proceed, let's cover some basic spreadsheet terminology. When you open Excel, you have the option of creating a new blank workbook or opening an existing workbook. We are going to choose New and then Blank Workbook. In Excel, workbooks are like the main thing, and they show up as .xlsx files. So whether you are starting a new workbook or opening an old one, you're actually dealing with a .xlsx file. The workbook contains all your data, functions, formulas, calculation results, including several other underlying elements that make up a workbook. A workbook consists of one or more worksheets, each of which is represented by a tab in Excel. Each worksheet is given a name, which is displayed on the corresponding tab for the worksheet. By default, each tab is named Sheet 1, then Sheet 2, and so on. To make the little tabs at the bottom of your Excel file more useful, it's a good idea to give them names that make sense for what you are doing on each sheet. For example, you might call a worksheet by any name, whether it's a month, area, or any department in your office. In order to do this, we will first right-click the tab and choose Rename. We can also rename the worksheet by double-clicking on the tab and renaming it. Here you can give any name to a worksheet tab according to your data requirements. The main point is to make it understandable for representation. Note that the worksheet on which you work is shown as highlighted. This is known as active worksheet. You can even change the order of these worksheets. Suppose I have 3 worksheets under the name of Sales, Purchases, and Finance. One way to do it is to drag a worksheet tab to the left or right and drop it in the place you want, which is represented by the little black arrow. But if you do not want to drag and drop worksheets, another way of doing that is to right-click on the Worksheet tab, select Move or Copy, and then in the list title before Sheet, select where you want your Worksheet tab to be placed and click OK. Every worksheet is made up of a lot of rectangular boxes called cells. These cells contains your data, which can be numbers, calculations, text, and formulas. Cells are organized in columns, which run vertically down the screen and has a letter at top. For example, this is column A, and rows, which run horizontally across the screen and use numbers. For example, this is row 5 in column A. Each cell is represented by a cell reference, which is essentially just its column letter and row number. If we click anywhere in this worksheet, we can select any cell. For example, I have selected H10. Now this cell is called Active Cell. This is not only indicated by the highlighted edges of the cell, but also if you look in the top left corner of the worksheet, you will note its cell reference in the little box. Here you can see it says H10. It is to be noted that cells are always referenced by their column letters first, then their row number. That's why you always see column H first and row 10 second. Another important element of a workbook I want you to show is a cell range. A cell range is a collection of several cells which are selected together. It means we can select few cells in the same row or the same column, or can select several rows and columns together. We can do this by selecting the first cell, then dragging down or across to include other cells, or we can use Shift plus arrow keys to select the range of cells. This is known as array, and these are commonly used as a reference in calculations and formulas. For example, if you want to add up all the values in a column between cells B5 and B15, you would specify this cell range within a formula. It is to be noted that cell ranges are notated using a full colon between the cell references. Therefore, in this example, it will be B5 colon B15, or to specify a few cells in the same row, it might be B5 colon G5, or to select several rows and columns, it might be B5 colon G15. We will come across this notation later in the course when we look into formulas and calculations. These cell ranges might also refer to cells on another worksheet, commonly known as a 3D reference. We can now close this workbook and we do not need to save it. In this video, we have learned about some of the basic terminology of spreadsheet elements. In the next video, we will discuss how to navigate around our spreadsheet, how to use the ribbon and menus, and how to select data.